Calculus is the study of rates of change of continuous functions. And there are two types of rates of change in which we can discuss. First, we can talk about the average rate of change. The average rate of change is the slope between 2 points on a graph. So here I have continuous function f of x, and I have an arbitrary x value labeled c. If I move h units to the right of c, I'll have an x value of c plus h. And I can put that point on the curve. The average rate of change is the slope of the line connecting these 2 points. And those 2 points have coordinates, x value c, y value f of c for the first point. And the second point has coordinates x value c plus h, y value f of c plus h. If I want to find the slope between those 2 points, slope is just how you found it in algebra class. It is the change in y divided by the change in x. So the slope would be f of c plus h minus f of c, that is your change in y, divided by your change in x, c plus h minus c. And we can simplify here. I have a positive c and a minus c. So more simply, the average rate of change would be f of c plus h minus f of c divided by h. Now, one of the reasons calculus was so revolutionary is now we can consider instantaneous rates of change. The instantaneous rate of change is the rate of change at 1 point. We no longer need 2 points on the curve. And what that looks like, it's the slope of the line tangent at 1 point. So the instantaneous rate of change is what we call the derivative. And that is the slope of the tangent line. Tangent line to a point on a graph. Now, how can we find that slope? Because we no longer have the 2 points to use our algebra formula, change in y divided by change in x. Well, if we look at this graph and we think about the distance between those 2 points approaching 0, so we are trying to make h approach 0, I can see that if I connect these consecutive points here, that as the distance becomes smaller, the secant line connecting 2 points starts to approach that tangent line, which is the instantaneous rate of change. So the way this looks in calculus speak, the derivative, f prime of x, is equal to the limit as h approaches 0 of the slope of those secant lines. So f of c plus h minus f of c divided by h. This is the definition of the derivative.